Good morning everyone. Well, morning for us. By the time you watch this it will probably almost definitely be the afternoon. Um, Today you're going to be continuing Charlotte's cancer journey. Unfortunately this gets into the quite unpleasant bit, I think. This is where glioblastoma really reared its head in terms of its symptoms, and Charlotte really rapidly declined in terms of her speech, her mobility, but not her cognitive ability, which is something we're quite keen to get across, is that although these symptoms are so terrible, your brain is still functioning and you're still aware of what's going on, which makes it infinitely more cruel and difficult to cope with. So you're going to be doing that. We also thought we'd mention some fundraising things which we might be doing soon. We've seen a walk from London to Brighton, which I think is about 100 kilometres. So we're debating about doing that over the May Bank holiday. It will be quite difficult, but it's a properly organised event, so there'll be people to give you a hand basically, like there is for marathons, etc. There'll be staff there, so that's quite exciting.
Well, we were thinking of doing it in one go, but I've now changed my mind because we'd be looking, in fact, the rate that we walk, having done our last walk, it would take us over 30 hours.
Yeah.
And that would be continual, and I don't think
that would be
that I can
without
do it.
sleep through the night.
So I think we'll probably do it in probably over the 2 days, which would be the end of May Bank holiday. I think it's about 27th, 28th of May.
Yeah, something around there.
And we're still looking very much at the North Downs walk, which would be 310 miles, I think, but I need to find out first about Miles's University and whether he's actually got any exams over the summer break. And then next week we have an event in Brighton, a comedy night, which Liv has very kindly set up for us, a friend of ours who was very good friends of Charlotte's. So we're quite looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So lots of things hopefully in the pipeline, and hopefully going to have another sort of auction. We're just deciding what theme to have. I think hopefully possibly pop memorabilia, if we can get some donations, and sport memorabilia would be good.
Yeah. So I'll let you get on with your section of the video, and I will see you guys next week. There'll probably be some photos, I imagine, from the fundraiser this coming week, so I'm sure we can stick those over the next video.
Yes, because Charlotte had a nice piece again in our local paper this week, I think it was, which was great. So I think fairly early on in the paper, so that's really good news.
Yeah.
So having got to the end of December last week, we'll start in January of last year, where things really did take a turn for the very worst. New Year's Day last year was quite quiet. She was increasingly becoming steadily more poorly. On the 2nd of January, it was her last time that we went into Brighton together, and she clung on to me. We parked in our normal disabled parking space. I haven't been back to the car park since. And I remember we staggered upstairs. She was so unsteady. Her gait was quite wide now, so it was really hard for her. And she wanted, of course, to go to the Chanel counter. And I remember, bought herself a really nice powder compact, which unfortunately she never ever used. And in fact, that went up to heaven with her. I put that in her casket. I didn't want anybody to have it. I just wanted it to go with her. And I remember she said to me, she said, "Mummy, I can't go on like this much longer." And it totally broke my heart. I remember that day so well, because we used to run into town and have a good time and go for something to eat. But she could hardly even stand anymore. It was just becoming impossible. And in fact, we were only in town for an hour. She just wanted to get out to have a look at the sales, as she always did. On the 3rd of January, I had 2 friends come over. One I hadn't seen for quite a long time, a friend of mine, Kerry, who makes blankets and things and soft fabrics, soft furnishings, and she actually bought Charlotte this beautiful blanket and this blanket was over her in hospital for the entire time that she was in her coma. And also another dear friend came over, Sophie, who I'm very good friends with now. I met at the gym. And it was lovely because Sophie and Charlotte really hit it off and talked about makeup and stuff, and Charlotte couldn't really get out of her chair anymore. But it was kind of almost like a vaguely normal day, if that's at all possible. However, on the 4th of January, glioblastoma really started to take a hold of her brain. She had severe pain in her right arm, and in that short space of time, she was now more or less paralysed down her right side. Her speech was slurred, very slurred. We phoned the hospital and we spoke to our consultant, who said that possibly it was a bleed on the brain, or it was the tumour on the move. And I think I knew which one it was. I knew that it was going to be the tumour on the move. And she was so frightened. And we all were. One thing I'll say about Charlotte, she never complained. She just took everything as she had to do. And it's so tragic when you see somebody so young, so full of life, turn into this totally different, physically different person that she just couldn't move anymore, and her hand was becoming stiffer. She was starting to get headaches. Not bad, but enough for us to worry about them. Bathing was becoming a real problem, because she couldn't move on the side. It would be so hard to get her into the bath, and that was one thing which she always loved, was her baths. And even now I find it very difficult to have a bath. I can only go in it for a couple of minutes. It just brings back so many images, because I had to stay with her, obviously, and she just couldn't do anything for herself. Next week I will cover the 5th of January, which was when we got the terminal diagnosis. For that I won't need any of my notes, because when I think about that day it makes me cry. And I remember it like it was yesterday. And even then I still never gave up hope. I just hoped some miracle would happen. But obviously it didn't. I thank everybody for supporting us on the Facebook page. It was a year ago today that Charlotte sent her very last text to me. It was to get some Quality Street from the local supermarket. She couldn't text after that with her left hand and hold her phone. And she adored her phone. And in fact I've now used that. I'm sorry, as I said, these are so hard to do, but I do need to get the message out there. I miss her very much. Very much. Ours is a great support to me. I will do probably the work
first one that I have to do next Sunday, and we'll do the whole day and how events unfolded that day. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.